Good morning, Aldersley High School. It's Thursday, the 11th of June, and it's my assembly today, Mrs Davies, and the topic that we're going to look at today is staying safe outdoors. So yesterday's challenge was set by Miss Dunn to encourage us all to be a little bit more healthy by making a small change in our diet. And post those changes onto Twitter or on Teams so that we can see what you've been doing to improve your health. So today we're looking at ways to stay safe in the great outdoors. And of course, all of us are looking forward to a time when we can go wherever we want quite freely. And we may head out into the beautiful landscape, or we might just enjoy our home environment in our urban area here in Wolverhampton. So the COVID-19 advice for going out in terms of parks, and that's where most of us will find our open space whilst we're at home most of the time, is to exercise outdoors. You can go now more than once a day, but not in large groups, and you're still to keep your distance of 2 metres, so that social distancing is really important. If you're playing tennis, etc., you can use courts with your household members or one other person with your own equipment and making sure that you stay safe at all times. Don't use any of the play areas, the gym or the wheeled sports areas. Lots of those are still fenced off until it's safe for us to use them again. And you must make sure that when you head back home that you wash your hands because you don't know who else may have touched some of the gates or environments that you have been in contact with. So as our roads begin to get busier, I thought we'd begin with a reminder and a recap of road safety. Remember your green cross code when you're out and about, making sure that you cross in a safe place away from parked cars, ideally on a zebra crossing, and looking and listening all the way as you cross the road. There have been a number of high-profile campaigns, as you can see from this slide, to support young people in particular to remember to stay safe out on the roads. So we're going to do a little experiment now. You're going to be the driver in the car in the photo opposite. You're going to see this view for 5 seconds, the average reaction time for a driver. So what did you see in that 5 seconds? Did you spot the children walking very close to the curb? Did you see the cyclist riding on the road without a helmet? The visibility wasn't brilliant because it had been raining, and that will affect your stopping distance. It'll make it much longer, and therefore it'll take you longer to stop, and there is more likelihood of an accident in poor weather. Did you see the other approaching vehicles, one of which was overtaking? That will affect your judgment and the choices that you make. So here are a few statistics about our roads and the pedestrians who use them. There's the number of injuries that happened on our roads last year and how many people died. Of the injuries, a quarter of them were aged between 1 and 15. And 36% of them, just over a third, occurred in the afternoon rush hour when it's starting to get dark, I guess, and there's more road users around because it's rush hour. And almost the same number of males and females were involved in those accidents. And here are the statistics about cyclists, also users of the road, but of course are alongside cars. Less injuries, less deaths. However, more accidents occurred in those commuting hours. And most people who were involved in those accidents were male, and that's largely because there are a greater number of male cyclists than female. So, first of all, some advice about cycling then. You know that at Aldersley High we run a bikeability programme, which you will do in year 7 and year 8 usually. And that's where you learn those bike handling skills before you venture out into areas where you're going to be sharing the road with cars and learning those rules of the road. It can be lots and lots of fun cycling, but it's really important to pay attention and to behave in the way that you would if you were driving a car and using the road. It's really important to have the right equipment and to make sure that you've got lights at night and a good fitting bicycle helmet. So playing sports is another activity that we will increasingly be able to do as the lockdown measures begin to ease. At the moment it's just with family, but make sure that you follow some of the key rules at the bottom of this slide to avoid getting those injuries. So as the warmer weather improves, we'll be wanting to get out and about hiking and camping possibly as soon as it's allowed. And I'd just like to remind you of those forest school activities that many of you have been involved in over the years, or Duke of Edinburgh, to give you the guidance and advice around how to use the outdoors really safely. Make sure that you've got comfortable walking shoes, nobody likes blisters. Make sure someone knows where you're going, take a first aid kit, make sure you've got enough water and food, and there's some advice for parents at the bottom in terms of how to support you to use the outdoors really safely. So lastly, when we're out and about, we might be enjoying the water. There's a lovely lake in West Park, and I know many of you enjoy a walk or a cycle around there. But if you're near a lake, a river or a wading pool, it's really important to stay back in case you accidentally fall in, and to make sure that you're able to swim. We know that you should be able to swim, but if you're going in a boat, then you should always wear a well-fitting life jacket to take part in boating activities. So my challenges today are around using and enjoying the great outdoors, and the first thing I'd like you to do, thinking about ourselves in Wolverhampton, is to create a poster to remind yourself about the rules of the road, to keep yourself safe as a pedestrian or a cyclist. Second challenge is to check out your bike if you've got one, to make sure that it's roadworthy and get things fixed before you head out again, making sure that your cycle helmet fits properly and that you've got adequate lights. And the third thing I'd like you to do is to upload a picture of the great outdoors that you've been enjoying to our Twitter page to show the places that you've visited safely. And if you've travelled to get there, if you've made a note of your mileage or you've done that on an app, don't forget to enter your miles for the house competition to get each house to their destination, and post that on @Aldersley High School. So last reminder then today is about Joyful June Mindfulness Calendar, which June the 11th, and the thing that we'd like you to think about today is saying positive things in your conversations with others today. Remember, if you can be anything, be kind, and if you can't say anything nice, then don't say anything at all, are always my rules of thumb. So finally, on the theme of keeping safe, while you're in school, you've got all of these people who are there to support you, your heads of year, our wellbeing and safeguarding team, and please email us between 8 and 4 or message us on Teams to help you out if you need us. Stay safe out there, guys, and have a fantastic day. You're all doing brilliantly and we're incredibly proud of you.